Hello, everyone, and this is the Finance Pastor coming to you live from my basement in Chattanooga, Tennessee, and I hope everybody's doing phenomenal. We are all about what is going on in the stock market news today and so much to unpack. We are seeing a lot of the fallout from the tariffs over the weekend. We have saw how many of Canada and Mexico had a strong rebuttal to President Trump's demands, but at the end of the day, already by Monday, they were already caving in. And if you look at what the proposal was, it wasn't unreasonable. If you get behind and get past the rhetoric of what has happened in the stock market, you can get past the rhetoric. You can see that the demands were pretty reasonable. Bring 10,000 troops, stop the flow of drugs, fentanyl, and illegal immigration, and you won't be tariffed. I think that's a reasonable order. And when cooler heads prevail, I think the businessmen and women of these prospective countries really probably talked sense into their leadership because it really doesn't help anyone to have two neighboring countries at odds. And as the long run, we need Mexico, we need Canada as good trading partners, in addition as allies. So we're seeing that the stock market has pretty much been flat today. Not too much moves, but a lot of the moves have been from last night and overnight, which Alphabet really reported an earnings miss, which has dropped the stock. It has fallen to about the 191, 190 range currently. And what we are seeing that range, that 190, 191, has really become a source of maybe like a demand zone, a place where you want to maybe consider purchasing there if it stays. If it does not stay, you could see that stock fall all the way up to the 170, even 154 range if there's news that really determines that. Now, we're going to look, and I'm going to share my screen. We're going to look at some of the news happenings here, and you can see what I'm seeing. We're going to share. And I'm gonna just refresh some of these pages. We kind of look at some of what's happening with Yahoo Finance, Alphabet, like we mentioned, just really slumping. But I am still bullish on Google. Alphabet really has, to me, is it has two main search engines, which is YouTube and Google search, which is at the end of the day is the biggest one until something else beats it out. But what you really see, like the news of DeepSeek right here, I think to me is just really is just news to drive prices down so institutional buyers can buy more stock. I believe that if you look at long term, long term meaning 1 to 3 years, I think you'll be seeing these price actions on these stocks are going to be very, very higher than what they are now. And if you're buying for future valuation, then I think you looking at stocks like Alphabet is one of my favorite ones. Let's look at CNBC. Let's see what this. I'll refresh it here. Stock. Okay, Dow Jones up 100, S&P climbing up 7 points, kind of like an average day. Nasdaq really dragging. One of the biggest uh, things to just fall on the Nasdaq is really the advent of AMD. And AMD at one time everyone thought was going to shoot to the moon. When it hit that 180, that 200 range, everybody thought that's the next Nvidia. And normally, I think the logic for many people thought, well, Jensen Huang's cousin, maybe she has access to secrets. But you look at the numbers, and they're not terrible. Like the profit, they're making money, they're profitable, but a lot of the data centers, a lot of the things that they're promising doesn't seem like it's coming to fruition. And right now, you look at, Amy Sue is a great CEO. I believe that it's a good company, but it has gotten assaulted. The stock has gotten assaulted over the last 7 months. Like, just really has there's no reason to invest. You kind of lost half of their valuation from their all-time highs. But what I have seen is that this stock tends to fall around that 103 range, in that vicinity. It looks like it could fall right back down. Could it bounce up? it's one of those stocks I have to wait and see. That's why a lot of other investors look at Palantir, which has really skyrocketed. They had great earnings. You start seeing where the money is flowing in Washington, D.C., and you start seeing clues of where to invest your money. It's not a I don't really care who's in office. It's not about a politician or it's about a political thing. It's about where the money flows. You can put any president, and there's going to be places where money flows, and you have to follow the money. That's the key thing. It's not about getting so emotionally wrapped up with politicians who will never shake your hand. It's looking at, okay, what are they doing? Their words, yeah, well, yeah, okay, I hear your words, but what are you doing? That's what I want to see, where that money flows. And money and numbers don't lie. And that's why you look at where the money's moving. So Palantir is one of those that I believe can take off if they're giving government contracts, if they're giving subsidies, stuff like that. You have to look at where the government will invest in AI. If we're the self proclaimed leaders of the world, then it's going to behoove us to be on the forefront of AI. Just like the United States after World War II was at the forefront of military, of design, industrial, we have to be at the forefront of AI. Once we miss that and we lose that, we start seeing that a lot of that really starts falling into like where the United States is moving. So we're looking for opportunities to make money in the market, and looking at stocks like Palantir, maybe for future growth, could be and potentially be an opportunity for you to potentially make money in the stock market. So let's look at other stuff. I want to look and share my screen again. We're looking again at share right here. Any news here? NASDAQ continues here. Let me live stream. S&P trader. Let me see what news is coming. Palantir's valuation to be detached from reality. This one right here is. I don't disagree with that, but you have to buy on rumor, sell on the news. That's a trader philosophy. So are stocks overvalued? Absolutely. Any trader who tell you it's not, it's kind of the same thing with real estate. Is it overvalued? Absolutely. Uh, Ford Motor set to report earnings after the bell. I own Ford Motor stock. Uh, if it is not for the dividends, this would be just a, a bum stock right now. They have a leadership issue in Ford Motor. They have a leadership issue, and that company won't get fixed until that leadership issue is finished, is fixed. Let's look at we got Palantir again, 103. It's at 100. It kind of went down from that big and bullish candle going up. I will see a little retracement. I would not be surprised if it goes back down to this $81 range if it does a pullback, or it's just going to continue up and there's nothing you can do about it. Just either get in or watch it go up. So we're looking at that. The SPY really looking kind of doing normal. I mean, 74 cents, not really like really moving there, but a lot of it is just driven by the S&P 500. Tesla 382. Again, Tesla, I mean, I own Tesla stock. Again, this stock is just parking right here. If you're trading options, you have gotten your butt handed to you. If you own the stock, you're like, man, I thought this stock was supposed to take off. I am liking the price range right here. It seems, and I'm just saying it seems, to keep bouncing off that 377, 379 range. And it seems to bounce off that. And I don't know if there's just a large amount of institutional buy orders that are in that range. To me, that's what I believe is happening. I believe all this chaos that we have right now is just for institutions to just park money in good companies that they know that they're going to do it. Because this is the thing, we can't say that we don't know that companies manipulate the market. It's a fallacy. We know they do it. For me, this is a manipulation of the stock, but also you can make fun of Elon Musk, and I think they do that for the price action to drop only for these institutions to get in, but that allows us, if you feel like you've missed a run, or if you feel like, hey, I missed the run all the way up, I still think this stock has the potential to go to 850. I'm bullish on that, but that's a long term view, and that's holding that stock 1 to 3 years, 1 to 5 years. You want to look at that. The Russell 2000, one of my favorites. I like doing credit spreads on the Russell 2000. It covers up a lot of the mid caps of the United States, and with a lot of the tariffs and a lot of that bullish valuation, it almost has been in this range. Look at this beautiful range from right here, this top button. Look at this beautiful range from that 1650 to that 2300 range in the last 1 year. I mean, it's just has had a great move, and the Russell 2000, for me, I believe could go to that $3,000 mark by the end of the year if we bring more manufacturing back into the United States, and I believe that's going to be one of the key components, or the key cog for the Russell to really hit that $3,000 mark, is really manufacturing here, because a lot of the mid cap companies that the Russell does control are really not all profitable. So the mid caps, I'm kind of looking at that. It's a good barrier. Diamonds. I know you diamond traders. I mean, just kind of moving along. $1.32. These are stocks that if you're playing like options on these type of stocks, even with a dollar move, you can make a 10 cent move on your option. I mean, some day traders love that. When I first started trading like 16 years ago, I learned how to trade that way. I don't do it that way now, but I like the stock, like a AMD, Dud, Amazon. I'm bullish on Amazon. I like Jeff Bezos, even though the stock is down. Again, this is might be another opportunity to buy, but if it drops, could it be in that 202 range? I don't know. Perhaps time will tell. Only time will tell on that stock. But you're looking for many stocks here that have been making strong moves. Royal Caribbean, another one on my bullish list, just keeps having a bullish run. This stock has really had a beautiful run. Oh, just beautiful. Look at that. Just beautiful run all the way up. I mean, just it really, this, I believe this stock really has made their money off the bad press for Carnival Cruises, really. I mean, they have, and it's a better product. More people like their services. Target, let's look at Target. Target, to me, if you're a long-term buyer, and many people have issues with Target, I get that. But if you're a long-term buyer, my opinion, I believe that Target is one of those stocks that if you hold long-term will go back up to this range right here. This 280, 264 range, I believe it can. I think the leadership has to understand that it fractured its relationship with a big customer base. So, there's a lot of things people say don't talk about: politics, money, and religion. And, I talk about all three, but there has to be a place where everyone has a voice and where you can speak freely but not be offensive. And I think there was, at one time, many people were considered centrist. And I'm hoping we could get back to that someday in the US. But a lot of the stuff are really looking pretty normal. Q's one of my favorite stocks. I've traded for many years. Again, it's one of those stocks that even with a dollar move, if you're options trading with a dollar move, a 10 cent move, you kind of like with a $10,000 account, you're kind of making like about $500 to $1,000 a day. I mean, it's kind of really a nice play on this one. I started investing that way. But I like more the easier ones. Crypto, Ethereum, just kind of down. Safe haven, gold, silver, uh, gold's up a little bit, hitting close to that $3,000 mark. And Netflix, yes, Netflix crossed the $1,000 benchmark. I'm loving that. I think it's there. I believe this stock is going to go to 1,200. just the streaming services. Not only that, but live sports venues. Hear me out. Live sport venues with Netflix really is going to be the cake on that one too. So you got to look at that. That is a key cog in investing here. And you're looking at what type of stocks like Netflix that really is an innovative stock that's looking to really move and get so involved in so many different arenas that is way beyond their first business scope. And like I said, Netflix is one of those innovative companies, and I believe that it's embedded in their DNA. And I don't agree with everything with Reed Hastings, but I love what the company does. And that's where you can kind of like admire people and not always have the same opinion or the same viewpoints. And I could look at something that someone built and say, man, they did a great work. And not be offended by it. So I do like Netflix. It's a great company, in my opinion. It's an innovative company. Any Apple, of course, is getting beat up a little bit, but other than that, you start seeing that where there are many opportunities in the stock market, and a lot of it is news driven. What you're starting to see in the stock market right now, where all the ups and downs, where all these crazy moves, whether it's going up or whether it's going down, is that the stock market in itself is basically going through shock therapy. It's basically going through financial peace university from Dave Ramsey, potentially, especially when you look at what Doge is doing with the Department of government efficiencies, really cutting a lot of the spending. So that is sending shock waves within the country and outside of people that were getting foreign aid. A lot of these companies, businesses were supporting were getting payments, and we're seeing that how much money was just going to just waste. And think of it as in your own pocketbook. How many of you have subscriptions? You'd be like, why am I still paying for this? And that's what was happening with the United States. So you have to see that the economy, and I mentioned this in a couple of my videos before, is that even in a Trump economy, it's not going to be a straight up. There's going to be like stair steps. There has to be opposition in order for you to go up. Look at the first administration. It wasn't a straight shoot up. There was a lot of opposition. And when you're doing stuff that's counter to what many people believe that you should be doing, things that are innovative, there's always going to be protests because people love the same old, same old. And what you're seeing is you have a lot of governmental bureaucrats who just part of the same old, same old. They want make sure that everything just doesn't change. And those are the type of people that prevent innovation. Those are the type of people that if you will leave it up to them, will still have us with a horse and buggy. Those are the type of people that keep people from really exploring other ways to making things more efficiently and more cost effective. So that's what we look at for business owners. And that's the thing is we have to always learn how to innovate. Nothing's ever going to stay the same. And if you start looking at history and how as a country we went from different and from horse and buggy to industrial age to the car movement to these big construction of buildings all over, especially in New York City where I grew up, you start seeing that there's an innovation. And every point there had to be the old had to be done away with, because in order to move forward, you look at the past, but sometimes you gotta like step away from the past. Thank goodness that we learned about plumbing. Why? Because I don't want to carry buckets of water up a hill. You know, you look at that machinery, things of that have made our life easier. For me, I embrace the AI because many people they afraid, oh, I might lose my job. This machine's gonna take my job. And I don't necessarily disagree. And in fact, I will tell you, it will take your job. But what is going to open up doors for is for you to start being put in place for the next data centers or look at the next thing that's going to take off. See, there's nothing, when something closes, something else opens. Look at the people who fix the horse and buggy. They knew that that industry was dead. Why? So they learn how to work on automobiles. So think of it as soon the Uber, the taxi, those we're gonna be selfless drivers um, in this next, I believe, in the next 30 years. So eventually we're gonna be not need to know how to drive because we it'll be done for us. And we're gonna start seeing how we innovate, how we grow, and how this country at one time, or as when we were kids, we used to watch the show The Jetsons, and we used to say to ourselves, "Oh my gosh, I wish we could get a car that takes us around." Well, now we're seeing it, and a lot of those things that we thought that were sci-fi or maybe mysterious really coming to pass. And you have many great innovators, engineers, mathematicians who are really at the forefront of what's happening now. And I, as an investor, it behooves me to be involved in the forefront. As you start investing, you look at other opportunities like real estate. And when I'm looking at we need prices to drop down and or wages to go up, that's where I'm looking at for real estate. But I'm also seeing, okay, where's the next growth? Where these data centers are going to go? And a lot of these data centers are going to go in a lot of rural areas that can provide power. I'm looking for places like Tennessee. And just in our corridor where I live, we have Watts Bar nuclear plant, and I'm about 45 minutes from Lenore City, where the atomic bomb was developed. So Oak Ridge, Tennessee. So we're like really distant from a lot of nuclear plants. If they can build these nuclear plants in a record time of a year or 2 years, I believe you're going to start seeing so many data centers being built that are going to be powered up. And I'm guessing you're going to see a lot of them being built at the same time. So that's where I believe the economy, and that's where with real estate, you can position yourself as where's these job growths going to be? Where can I buy land? Where can I purchase my money? Are there any lenders? Are there any apartment complexes I could buy in that area that could probably grow in size or probably grow in equity and or appreciation? Then you could start looking, okay, can I wholesale? Can I lease option? Can I do seller financing? Can I do new construction? That really could let you know where you can invest your money. And or if you're working with areas that are unrestricted land, can they let you build mobile home parks? Those are tin cans that spit out cash. Many people call mobile home parks tin trash to $1 million cash. So a lot of mobile homes and really storage units are really the way to go in those type of areas. I'm liking that because you have a lot of people that are gonna move in, don't have places to store stuff. They're gonna need those type of storage units. So I would look for places like that. Or if you wanna like do the single family houses, that build your portfolio or apartments, I'm all for that. So as you start looking at your portfolio and start looking at where the economy is going, a lot of the decisions in Washington, D.C. affects all of us. All of us are not immune, whether good or bad. And that's where you try to place yourself in, okay, where can I put and invest my money wisely, but also in a place where I could see growth, where I could have peace of mind, but also knowing that my money's going to grow over time and that I could lift my family's financial future forward. So, as we go along, many of you just leave your comments, follow along. If you have any questions, I would love to answer them. Follow me at the Finance Pastor, click the subscribe button, and I look forward to spending more time with you guys. Until next time.